Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish.
I want to welcome everyone into the Patton Sports Videocast here on mopattonsports.com. I'm Maurice Patton along with Terrence Smithson, taking you into week 2 of the Mid-State High School football season. And as you can tell, we're here at Overton High School. The Bobcats travel down I-65 South, right over there, to Lewisburg for a matchup with Marshall County. We're going to get to that one here in a second, but starting it off with a Thursday night matchup as Cane Ridge travels to Mount Juliet. The Ravens last year dealt Mount Juliet a 27-0 loss, and I believe Trey Perry will make sure his guys remember that when this one kicks off. Cane Ridge coming in off of a 39-0 win over Antioch, big rivalry matchup over there. Mount Juliet defeated Gallatin 26-6, so both of those teams dealt with their first week opponents pretty handily. I think this one's going to be a little closer.
Yeah, you would think so. With that big line that Mount Juliet has, you would think they would be able to move the ball consistently on the Ravens, with DJ Devendall being an MTSU commitment, and his counterpart on the other side there, Justin Satterfield, 6'7", 310 pounds. You'd think they'd be able to move the ball pretty well. On the other side, though, Cane Ridge is a physical defense led by Noah Bayless at linebacker. They played Overton in a 2-quarter jamboree over here a couple of weeks ago. Overton didn't move the ball, and I think that there are some expectations for that Overton offense. So this might be one of those immovable objects, unstoppable force kind of situations here with Mount Juliet's offense and Cane Ridge's defense. Mount Juliet may have the X factor with their quarterback, Mason Earls, a kid who moved in from receiver last year against Gallatin the other night. 19 carries, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Apparently he's running that option for him pretty well. Also, Mount Juliet defensively created 3 turnovers, got a safety off of a bad punt snap in that 26-6 win over Gallatin, but they gave up 253 yards to a really good running back, Jordan Mason. So Mount Juliet got some things defensively that they're going to want to shore up. Cane Ridge offensively got a big night out of the quarterback, DJ Thorpe, threw it for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Maury Barton, 77 rushing yards and a touchdown. So again, offensively, Cane Ridge got some pretty good things done against Antioch. Yeah, the Bradley kid had a good night up front, and they're going to need a big effort from him tomorrow or Friday night in order to be successful against that Golden Bear defense.
Again, you talked about the Mount Juliet offense, and when you've got a Delfindall at 6'5", 280, and a Satterfield 6'7", 310, you pretty well know what's coming offensively.
Yeah, Coach Perry likes to go to that single back offense, and you're coming off tackle.
And again, lost this game 27-0 last year, so I think you can expect a pretty physical affair on both sides of the ball with Cane Ridge and Mount Juliet. Shifting gears to Friday's games, we kind of talked about the town and country aspect last week. This game, this Cane Ridge Mount Juliet game, one of those between a Metro team and a Mid-State squad. Got another one, and ESPNU is getting a taste of it when Hillsborough goes down to Oakland. Hillsborough struggled a little bit last week in their 9-7 loss over at Vanderbilt against Pearl Cone. Got 1 offensive touchdown. Javante Patton, one of our Dirty 30 selections, lined up at quarterback, took a speed option 60 yards for a touchdown, but that was all they were able to manage. Weren't able to really sustain anything offensively. Playing a lot with a sophomore quarterback, had their struggles.
Yeah, Oakland looked real good in their game in the Middle Tennessee Classic. We'll see if Hillsborough can test them, and really we'll see if that defense is as good as it looked against Jackson Northside.
And we'll see if Hillsborough's defense is as good as it looked against Pearl Cone. Did not give up an offensive touchdown. Pearl Cone scored their 2 touchdowns. Well, I'm sorry, got their 2 scores on a punt return for a touchdown and on a safety. So Hillsborough defensively getting it done. Offense has got some work to do, and they're going to have to get it done against a pretty good Oakland defense. Meanwhile, Oakland's kind of a case of the rich getting richer. We've talked about so many of their skill guys over the last year or so, but another guy emerged in that Northside win, Zarius Gamble, a senior, 89-yard punt return, a 60-yard catch, both of them for touchdowns. So there's going to be guys all over the field that are potential playmakers in this ball game.
You're right. When we're talking about defense there, Chris Onwumere is really, he burst on the scene with 8 tackles for a loss in that Middle Tennessee Classic, and we expect him to really have a good performance on TV. He'll be real motivated on ESPNU to show everybody just how good he really is.
8 tackles for loss.
8 tackles for loss. He lived in the backfield.
That's a season for a lot of guys.
You, man, that dude's got violent hands.
We talked about Mr.
Onwumere.
There we go. Talked about him a little bit on the podcast earlier this week. Really caught Terrence's attention. Obviously, Terrence, a big line aficionado. So Chris really stood out against Northside, and like he said, it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with up front for Oakland in this televised game. Oakland won this game 36-28 last year at Hillsborough. I'm not sure if Hillsborough can come up with 4 touchdowns this time around.
That defense is tough. It's going to be a question if Oakland can put up that many points this time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this one will be a little bit lower scoring. We'll get into some picks here later on in the show, but again, Hillsborough's defense is really rising, has been a staple for them the last couple of years, and looking to continue that against a really talented Oakland team. Another big matchup back over at Vanderbilt, CPA against Knoxville Catholic. You're talking about 3A state finalist from last year, 4A state champion from last year. CPA won this game 38-10. One of Knoxville Catholic's 4 losses last year, but Steve Matthews and the Irish got things back together, went on a run late, defeated Pearl Cone pretty handily to win the state championship. This time around, Knox Catholic coming in off of a loss because they managed to somehow play an ineligible player against Morristown West in their season opener, so they wound up forfeiting that game. CPA went down to Georgia on Saturday, dropped a 32-7 decision against Parkview. So you've got both teams coming in here, coming off losses, trying to get something established, and you got to think that Catholic is going to try to establish it behind that huge offensive line.
You're right, Mo. I expect them to get in behind that line and do a lot of running off tackle, running up the middle. And Big John Curbison, 6'4", 280, Cade Mays, and the Tucker kid, they bring a lot of size down through there.
They really do. Cade Mays, a junior tackle, 6'5", 295. He's a UT commit. Bryn Tucker, 6'5", 290, is a freshman. He's already got offers from UT and LSU. He's played 1 ball game. So, but you can't teach size, can you?
You can't.
Running behind those guys, we saw Jeff Wood in the state championship game last year. Also, Amari Rogers is a Clemson signee. I think he's supposed to be back, had off-season shoulder surgery. Getting back just in time for Engel Martin and the Lions. I'm sure they love that timing.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, CPA looking to establish things behind their front line. Rook Young and Will Peters, a couple of guys up front for them. They're really young at the skill positions this time around.
I could tell they were probably young across the front by the score coming out of Georgia. That was a surprise to me. I didn't expect them to lose that game. And they're going to have their work cut out for them against that mammoth line from Catholic.
mammoth is a good word for it. Look for Jackson Lewis, the wide receiver safety, to be a factor on both sides of the ball for CPA. Again, they won this game 38-10 last year, 13-2 last season. Knoxville Catholic 11-4. This game will be played at Vanderbilt, 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday night. So don't go out Old Hickory or you'll miss this one. When we get back, we got a few more matchups to talk to you about. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building. Southern Athletic Fields Incorporated originated in 1996 when Bill Marbett formed a company specializing in baseball and softball field materials. SAF has since grown and now has sales reps to cover over 12 states with products servicing many outdoor sports. Southern Athletic Fields takes great pride in working with their customers to achieve the best athletic field possible. Visit their website at www.southern-athleticfields.com or like them on Facebook. Dirt, you gotta love it.
Great teams have talent. They also have the necessary tools for success. BSN Sports delivers these tools whether your team needs uniforms, apparel, or athletic equipment to achieve greatness. Just like a winning teammate, BSN Sports is there for you. Their unmatched service ensures that you have best-in-class equipment for championship-level performance, plus uniforms and athletic apparel from the best brands in the industry to look your best when hoisting your trophy.
Express Employment Professionals, North Nashville and downtown, owned by respected business leaders Christy and Jason Patrick, is the premier employment agency in the community. Express is one of the community's largest employers, consistently working over 500 people at over 125 private businesses each week in Davidson County. Whether you are a company looking for the next great employee or a candidate looking for the next great job, Express is the employment resource for you. Call them at 615-313-3690 or visit their website at www.expresspros.com/in-Nashville-TN. Like them on Facebook at Express Employment Professionals, Nashville North and downtown.
To continue checking in on our defending state champions, we got Brentwood Academy, the winner of Division II AA last year, going on up I-65 North to Louisville for a matchup with a Trinity team that opened last week by defeating Ensworth down here in Nashville 14-7. Brentwood Academy knocked off Olive Branch out of Mississippi 42-14 last week. Big night out of Jeremiah Oatsvall, the Austin Peay commitment at quarterback. 199 offensive yards, threw for a couple of touchdowns. Brentwood Academy defensively, 203 offensive yards allowed against Olive Branch. Again, Trinity 14-7 winner over at Ensworth, scored a couple of touchdowns late.
Yeah, Isaiah Gentry, 6'3", 255 pounds. He's the Brentwood Academy lineman that we're going to be watching this week. I think he's going to be instrumental in Jeremiah Oatsfall getting the ball out quick out of that one-back set.
And when he gets it out quick, he's got some guys to get it out to, a couple of juniors in particular, Cameron Johnson and Daniel Taylor, both of whom showed up big in the state championship game last week. Johnson obviously getting a lot of big-time offers here, and Taylor is going to be a guy who, before it's over with, is going to be right there with them, I think. But they've got some talent. Trinity's got some tradition. They've won 51 straight ball games now, won another state championship up in Kentucky. They've won 23. So you're talking about two tradition-laden programs getting together here when Brentwood Academy and Trinity meet. And I think it's an interesting measuring stick for Brentwood Academy from the standpoint that, again, Trinity opened with a 14-7 win over at Ensworth. That's one of the teams that Brentwood Academy obviously has on their radar here in Division II AA.
Everybody has their Ensworth on their radar, and when you can beat them, it's always a good thing if you're in that division.
Exactly. So, you know, they'll want to see how they match up with Trinity relative to what Trinity did with Ensworth last week. Brentwood Academy took a 31-14 loss at home in this ball game last year, their only loss in a state championship campaign. So big matchup up in Louisville for the Eagles. In 5A, Independence went undefeated last year, won the 5A state championship. They go to Centennial. Centennial went 12-2 last year, both losses to the Eagles, 49-6 at this point last year and again in the state semifinals. So great season, best season in school history for Centennial if they could have just avoided the Eagles. But Indy looking to obviously take another step after having to survive a 21-20 win over Brentwood last week.
After coming off that big win, I'm sure they want to go up to Franklin and prove that that wasn't a fluke that they beat Brentwood.
Yeah.
They want to take on Centennial and put a good whooping on them.
Well, and they've done that the last couple of times that they met. Meanwhile, Matt Kreisky and the Cougars coming off a pretty big win of their own, defeating Franklin 28-24 in the Battle of Franklin, scoring 2 touchdowns in the last 78 seconds, I think, and getting an onside kick. So big win for them. They've got some momentum coming into this ball game. I think that if you look at Independence on film, you feel like, hey, maybe there's something there that wasn't there last year. Maybe there's something we can take advantage of. Good luck with that, because they may be a little bit more balanced this year than they were last year, thanks to the junior running back, Troy Henderson. 92 rushing yards, all 3 of their touchdowns last week.
Trey Swayze is going to need some protection from his guys up front to get Centennial on the board. And we'll see how well they protect him and how quickly he can get the ball off, and maybe he won't wait till the 4th quarter to get it done this week.
Well, talk to Donnie Webb over the weekend, and he said that they really were able to get some pressure on Trey Stewart over the course of the game. But again, in the 4th quarter, he kind of settled in, made some plays for him, which I guess if you're going to do it, that's the time to do it. But again, Austin Waddell showed up big for the Cougars as well. Caught both those touchdowns late, a 66-yarder and a 34-yarder. Again, recovered Tavion Fleming recovered the onside kick after a punt return for a touchdown earlier in the night. So special teams coming through for Centennial. This ought to be a heck of a matchup. And again, Centennial looking like they've got a score to settle after the way things went last year. When we get back, we got a few more for you.
Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in threes. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens.
Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers combine the best of bowling, games, food, drink, and fun. For all Middle Tennessee residents, Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers are the ideal destination for family entertainment. The safe, friendly environment is perfect for birthday parties for kids of all ages or business outings for adults who work too hard. Our friendly staff and fun atmosphere will help create those enjoyable memories with your coworkers, friends, and loved ones. Don't forget to sign your kids up for our Kids Bowl Free summer program. Visit us online at strikeandsparebowling.com or come see us in person at any of our nearby Strike and Spare locations in Donaldson, Hendersonville, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and the Tusculum area for more details. We'll see you soon.
Hey, we mentioned Franklin, we mentioned Riverdale. Those two match up Friday night. Franklin coming off that tough 28-24 loss to Centennial. Riverdale opened with a 47-14 win against Ooltewah, and we mentioned last week the Centennial-Franklin matchup, Matt Kreisky going against his former high school coach, Donnie Webb. Well, this week, Donnie gets Matt's twin brother, Will, and Will hoping for the same type success that his twin brother had last week. And again, Riverdale with a big win Saturday.
Big win. Had a lot of questions about is the chop back in full force on Warrior Drive. It's a little bit early to tell on that one. They had a big win, but they also didn't get tested real well in that game.
You know, they showed a lot of ability to do some things defensively, though. Created 5 turnovers, got some things done in the return game. Gentry Bonds with a 50-yard return for a touchdown, also blocked a punt for a touchdown. So, as we were talking off air earlier, they got some gifts, but they took advantage of them because teams don't always do that.
You're right. One thing the Riverdale secondary proved is that they can catch, and they transition from defense to offense as well as anyone in the state. They can take it to the house. They're well versed with where the end zone is.
And a lot of those guys play both ways. I mean, again, you're talking about a Gentry Bonds, a Georgia Tech commitment. You're talking about a Marquell Odom. Guys who, like you said, know what to do with the ball when it's in their hands, regardless of what side of the line it's on.
That's right.
Franklin, meanwhile, again, coming off a tough loss, controlled that game for the most part, led 24-16, 24-18 late, gave up 2 touchdowns, 24-14. There we go.
They were up 10.
Yeah, they were up 10. My Franklin High math there. Sorry about that. No, they were up 24-14 late. Centennial scores a couple. But this team, you kind of know what they're going to do when the first 2 guys that you talk about are Caden Williams and Max Ray, because they're both offensive linemen, which again is right up Terrence's alley.
That's right. Those big guys, I thought they would win that game against Centennial last week, and they had it in hand, but they managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in the last 78 seconds. But I expect a war on Warrior Drive, because Coach Webb is going to want to get in the win column in a bad way.
Absolutely. And I think Mitch Rossi will have a big say in that on both sides of the ball. Rush for 122 yards against Centennial. Also plays linebacker for the Rebels, kind of leads that defensive side of the ball along with Connor Polk over there. So got some underplayed guys, I think, when you're talking about that Franklin team. Again, Williams, one of our Dirty 30 guys up front. Max Ray is an offensive lineman who is already committed to Georgia. But it's going to be down and dirty for Franklin, I think, that 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of thing, because they're going to want to just lean on Riverdale all night and maybe win it in the 4th quarter.
I expect this game to come down to special teams. I think the defenses are pretty equal. Special teams is going to be the deciding factor, in my opinion. I think the Riverdale kicking game is going to be instrumental in this game, because they haven't shown to be real reliable.
I like the way you did that, yeah.
They missed 2 extra points and a field goal in the Classic, and I think Franklin traditionally has a good kicking game because they have such a good soccer program down there.
Exactly. This game here, the Bobcats again go down to Marshall County. Marshall County 12-2 last year, advanced to the Class 4A state semifinals before they lost at Knoxville Catholic. Overton 7-5 in Class 6A. Both these teams coming in off of wins. Overton defeated Stewart's Creek a lot more handily than we had expected. 41-7 was the final in that one. Marshall County goes over to Franklin County and wins 49-6. So you're talking about a couple of teams with a proven ability to put points on the board.
You're right, and lots of them, they put them up in bunches.
Absolutely. Overton won this game 42-41 last year on this field, traveling down to Lewisburg, a little bit different environment for them. We'll see how that one goes. But Theo Jackson, the UT commitment for Overton, at quarterback, 9 carries, 112 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Showed some big playability with a 44-yarder and a 47-yarder, but he's got some company back there in the backfield. Tavarius Travis and Tyrone Sanders. Travis, 3 carries, 61 yards and a touchdown. Sanders, 3 carries, 66 yards. So sounds like they were getting around the corner and getting chunks against Stewart's Creek.
When you have speed, speed kills.
Speed kills, and you can't teach it, and apparently it's pretty tough to defend as well.
Right.
Rushed for 267 yards against Stewart's Creek to kind of even things up after a 16-8 loss to the Redhawks last year. Marshall County handled Franklin County pretty handily again after a 60-23 win to open the season last year. Sophomore quarterback Bryce Wallace, 14 of 17, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both those receivers, Trey Crutcher and Jay Howard, been all-state performers the last couple of years. Crutcher scored on a 54-yard punt return. Howard scored on a 20-yard pass. Cameron Liggett at running back rushed for 78 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And Kay McWilliams, the transfer from Fayetteville, scored a touchdown, but he's kind of the anchor for that Tigers defense.
That was the name I was waiting for you to call off, was Kane Williams. And he's a real good player.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Coach Palmer hated to lose him down at Fayetteville. but he's made a big difference in the Tigers defense. And I watched some film on him. He really gets around quick on that field. He's sideline to sideline, and he's in a bad mood when he gets there.
Folks have referred to him as Dante Hightower Jr.
Yes.
Hightower went on and played at Alabama, and he's with the Patriots. So no expectations there, Kane. But Kane's starting to get some attention. I think he's got a South Carolina offer and a few others of that ilk. So starting to draw some attention to that Marshall County program.
That's a good comparison. He does look like Dante. I mean, I looked at him, the first thing I thought, okay, they got another Dante Hightower.
And I didn't get to see him in high school, but I heard about him.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a real good player.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you...
Another name you might keep in mind is Kevon Maxwell. He returned a punt last week, and special teams could come into play in this game. If it's a close contest like last year, points will be coming in bunches, and Mr. Maxwell may get into action.
Well, and Maxwell is typically a pretty big name down there in Marshall County. Going back to our buddy, the baseball coach over at Ensworth, Jason Maxwell, I wonder if he's in that same line, but most likely so.
Mo Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
Hey, we're going to get into our picks, and hashtag BeatMostradamus on Twitter. Nobody got me last week. Shoot us your top 6 picks, and if anybody does beat me, they go into a drawing for a Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe gift card. So let's see what you got. Last week we had Independence and Brentwood. Mr. Smithson here took Brentwood. I didn't. We both missed the Centennial Franklin result. We both missed the Pearl Cone Hillsboro result. Let's see. We both got Smyrna beating Laverne last week, so we're starting to get it right. But then I had Overton beating Stewart's Creek.
I didn't.
You didn't. And we both had Hendersonville handling McGavock, and that one worked out in our favor. So I went 4-2 on the featured games, I guess, and Terrence didn't. But we're going to give him a shot to make it up this week. Brentwood Academy Trinity, who you like?
Brentwood Academy. I'm not going to go against Jeremiah Oatsfall and Isaiah Gentry and that bunch. I think they can handle it.
At home, I would be inclined to go with you. I've been to Trinity. It's a tough place to play. I'm going to take the Shamrocks in this one. CPA and Knoxville Catholic over at Vanderbilt.
Knox Catholic. I think the mammoth line over there for Knox Catholic is going to be a little bit too much for CPA to overcome.
I think you're right. I think I'm going with the Irish as well. Franklin and Riverdale, who you like?
Whew. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to the kicking game, and for that reason and that reason only, I'm going with Franklin.
Okay. I'm going with Riverdale. I just think that I think they're too deep at the skill positions and got too much big playability. I think Franklin's going to have to be able to drive the ball, hold the ball, run some clock, and I just think that Riverdale has too much big playability to offset that. But I think it's going to be a close one, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're right on this one.
Yeah, Will Pretty and those offensive linemen for Riverdale, they're going to have their work cut out for them. We'll see.
Hillsboro, Oakland.
Oakland. I think, like I said, too much star power, too much speed, too much all around the field for Hillsborough to overcome.
I think Hillsborough still got some things to iron out on the offensive side of the ball, and I think this is a team that's going to have to be reckoned with as the season progresses, but I don't think they're there in this matchup. I'm going with the Patriots. Independent Centennial.
Independence. I went against them last week and they pulled a rabbit out of their hat, so I'm going to go with Independence on this one.
You know, I think until somebody beats them, I've got to go with the Eagles as well. And this one here, Overton, Marshall County.
Marshall County. I think Kane is going to slew him.
Kane will be able?
He will be able.
I like the Tigers in this one at home. I just think that that environment is really conducive for the home team to be successful, and I think it's going to be tough for Overton to go in there and come out with a victory. Wouldn't surprise me again if it's a close one like it was last year, but I like the Tigers in this one. And again, shoot us your picks. Hashtag beat Mostradamus. Let's see what you got. Winners going to drawing for a Taziki's gift card. 8 locations in Middle Tennessee. One of them's got to be near you. Also be sure and check out the website mopattonsports.com for this week's Elite 11 and see where your team stacks up. That's going to do it for the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. That's Terrence Smithson. I'm Maurice Patton. We'll see you at the ball game.